one of the comments that you make is that you work within how the current legislation functions. And herein lies the problem, sir, and that is, as it relates to the general application rule, the Conflict of Interest Act is so open to that that you can actually drive a truck through it in terms of that general application rule, because you gave examples about how a policy decision is made on the part of the country, and then there are very specific layers that happen as a result of that. The problem is that, you know, we're in a situation right now where some of the witnesses that have come before us have said we've never had a prime minister as conflicted as this. And here's the problem. The problem is that on some of these major policy announcements, Mr. Theriault referred to artificial intelligence, modular homes, heat pumps, small nuclear modular reactors, and, for example, the lumber business. There is, within the Prime Minister's portfolio that's being held, as we all know, in a blind trust, deferred stock units, options, and bonus incentives related to that, notwithstanding the fact that there are stocks within there. And I know you said you're making a serious effort, and the difficulty in that is under the transition fund, there are many, many entities related to that. So my question to you is, for the sake of the confidence that Canadians have in their designated public office holders, whether it's the Prime Minister or the Minister, you mentioned that you divested yourself of Brookfield assets because you did not want that to be perceived, real or otherwise, as a conflict of interest. Do you not believe, sir, that when a person runs for Prime Minister and is that conflicted, should they not divest themselves of all of the assets to ensure that we can have public confidence, restore public confidence, that the person who is holding the highest office in the land is not benefiting from decisions that are being made, whether they're on a general basis, given the policy announcements that have been made, and when you layer it down to the specifics, there is the potential for profit to be made. Do you not believe, sir, that complete divestment is the answer in this case? And I understand there's tax implications, but we're talking about the confidence that Canadians have in the office holder in the highest office of the land. Do you not believe divestment should be the option?
Honestly, Mr. President, I think I come back to something that I said earlier. And to be blunt, I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's that simple because I think, given the issues facing Canada today, this is a time when Canada needs to be able, and it's not just the Prime Minister I'm talking about, I'm thinking about ministers, I'm thinking about other senior people coming into government, where we need access to the best talent that this country can provide. I think that's fundamentally important because this country faces a set of challenges, the likes of which we probably haven't faced since the Second World War. That, I think, requires careful judgment about striking a balance between, on the one hand, the very legitimate point you make with respect to confidence and accountability and transparency, which is what the screen is all about, and why we are being so diligent and so careful about that screen, because I endorse 100% the importance of those principles in the eyes of Canadians. On the other hand, we also have to be able to get the best talent that we can because Canada needs it. And therefore, I would urge you, it's your decision. You folks got elected. I didn't get elected. It's for you to decide what that legislation should be. My job, as I've said, is I run the system that exists today. Your job is to say what should it be, and is the current system adequate? I would just urge you, in thinking that question through, to not create a set of barriers that make it impossible for talented people to come to the aid of the country at a time when we need access to the best talent that we can possibly have. And I can assure you, Mr. President, because I live it, that attracting people into the government of Canada today is not easy. There are many barriers, be it compensation barriers, be it post-employment guidelines, be it X, Y, Z. It is not easy. Now, we work within those rules because those rules are important and we do the best we can. But having access to the best talent that this country has to offer, that seems to me to be, I'll put it this way, an extremely important priority because we got to get this country going and moving forward.
And I would submit to you, sir, that we can draw that talent without the backdrop of whether an individual who is in that office, whether it causes Canadians to wonder and causes parliamentarians to wonder whether they are personally benefiting from being in the position that they're in.
And that goes, Mr. President, to the rigor with which we run this system. And I can assure you, I mean, if I've done anything
the rigor, Mr. Sabia, comes with complete divestment. It's the only way to deal with this. And I don't want to argue with you this point, but Canadians have to have confidence in the person who is running this country that they're not benefiting from it. And if for the reason you say, for the virtuous reason that a person makes to want to run as a designated public officer or the Prime Minister, then that should be part of the backdrop of the decision-making process they make in deciding to run and come back, as you say, to save this country. That should be the number one consideration, in my view, in that decision that they make to come back. That they come back for a virtuous reason, not to profit and not to benefit. And we have to, we as a committee are charged, and I agree with you on this, and we've heard from lots of witnesses who've talked about this loophole within the Act that needs to be challenged and changed. And we are going to have a decision to make. But again, we're not trying to do this for any one individual. We have to do this in order to protect the integrity of the office of the Prime Minister and to ensure Canadians that decisions aren't being made in the best interest of any individual, that it's being made in the best interest of the country.
Well,
so
Mr.
I want to thank you.
What I would say is I think we both share the view and we share the goal of protecting the integrity of the country and continuing to reinforce the confidence that Canadians have in the institution of the Government of Canada. I don't think there's any disagreement between me or you or other members of the committee that's very important.
And the only way to do that is to change this massive loophole within the law as it relates to the general application rule. So